Welcome to Potentials, everyone. It's been a hot minute that we've had Ani Osaru on, and he's back. I'm really excited. Thank you for coming back, Ani.
Yes, it's great to be back and tap in with my Gen Z family, Generation Z family. And yeah, I'm here to chop it up and give the latest on these topics and discussion matters. How have you been?
Yes. Oh, I've been great. How about you?
Been doing excellent, just putting in work, doing research, living life, eating good,
Good.
um, nurturing and definitely tapping in spiritually to get me to a better place of understanding myself. This is very important for you to understand how you're developing. Some people just riff and raff and they let it go, but you got to understand how and what phase of the development are you in at this point of time. So I'm getting better of understanding that.
That's awesome. I couldn't agree with you more on that. It's really important to be in touch with your progress of what you're and probably even why you're here, what you're doing, what's going on. So
Absolutely.
I really appreciate that about you because you definitely seem to have a mission
hmm
and like would you like to talk a little bit more about that?
Yes. So for people that not familiar with me, I've been a metaphysicist and a lecturer for about 10 years. I've been chopping up on different topics at first. I didn't really get into lecturing and actually giving long dialogues of what's actually happening when it pertains to spirituality and metaphysics or the occult.
Mm.
I used to just look at certain events that was happening in the world and the people that were asking the questions. I used to watch these other people like the master teachers from this specific era of the 90s and the early 2000s. They used to break this stuff down. They used to connect whether it was the Illuminati or was it forces that were cosmic that were manipulating things in reality. So I kind of tune in with them and develop my own type of understanding of what they were saying. And I started early presenting that. And then later I started to become practical or pragmatic with it. And the more I became pragmatic, I started to get results and breakthroughs in what this whole thing is about. And I really actually had the experience of knowing we are in a hologram or a simulation and
Mm.
everything around us is a projection from another place. I've even gone far further than that to realize that we're in a parallel simulation. We have parallel simulations of ourselves happening, and a lot of times when we're dreaming, our parallel dimensional form of ourselves are actually experiencing our lives in their dreams and us vice versa to them. So you sometimes you have these dreams
Mm.
and these things never happened before in your
Yes.
life. And scientists just proved this the other day, by the way. You guys think I'm
Cool.
out of my mind. They just said literally that we're dreaming of parallel realities of ourselves. You can look up the article. I showed it to my audience the other day. So me saying this 3 or 4 years ago when that cold spot
Yeah.
opened up in the Boötes constellation,
Mm.
really it started, the scientists got an eye on it in 2012 when they said the world
Yeah.
was going to end. The world did end with the end of the world was the end of the simulation in the way that it was in. We've
Right.
we've had a breakthrough from the waters above. The quark gluon plasma is pouring
Mm.
in into the third dimensional reality, and they're giving spatial distortions right now. So some people are on one timeline living,
Yes.
and other people are on another timeline. Some people pertain to this new age terms vibration. Some people are on one vibration, other people are on another. Is even more chaotic than that. So I've been cataloging that. It's called hyperlucidity. I go through different events in the world, big time events, like we can talk about the Charlie Kirk thing if we need to, and show how there's a metaphysical occult angle to actually what occurred with these things and some of the
Interesting.
astrology. I'm deeper into Vedic astrology than the last time me and you spoke. There's a
Oh,
lot of
cool.
aspects to that that pertains to what's occurring in the world right now. And people need to understand Vedic astrology, what Rahu and Ketu is, the south node and the north node, plays a big part in the portion of the moon on our lives. And Western astrologists don't really stress it, how Vedic or Jyotishis express it. And I think it's very important for us to understand these matters.
Yeah, that's very, very interesting. Yeah, so you saying you're getting more into the Vedic astrology. What made you decide to do that?
Well, I've had several Yotishis approach me about my content. So my
Mm,
content has been going on for years. My first page was deleted because I was given too much raw information. I needed to
hmm.
tone back a little bit. So
I
they
remember
removed
that.
that. So this next
Mm.
page, I kind of toned back, but I had it more structured, and you guys can find me at Ani Osaru, by the way, on YouTube.
Yeah.
And they reached out. I got in contact with one woman. Her name is Kalini. She introduced me to the moon phases called the tethys, and she broke down the whole system of Yotish to me, how it works. Then I got in contact with another brother named Josh in Florida,
Mm,
ironically, and he broke down even more the Brihat Parashastra Horashastra. It's like the Nag Hammadi of the Gnostic text, but to the Vedic cosmology. So I started to learn how Vishnu and Shiva and these other godly beings or avatars interacted with like Shani or Buddha or Guru Brihaspati and these other planetary plasmic frequencies, because we look at it in Vedic astrology as plasma more than
right.
physical objects moving. There are cymatic plasmic structures in the waters above, in the quark gluon plasma, affecting events and aspects of development in your life of consciousness down here. So,
How does that speak to fractality? How is that connected?
well, we're learning some things. So, what we're understanding, the chaos is structured and is not structured. So
Mm,
there's something, I'm big in numerology as well, as you may know.
mm-hmm.
So besides the Vedic astrology, because Vedic astrology pertains to it. I teach gematria for those who
Mm,
don't know. I'm one of the mainstream decoders on gematria. So a lot of people, a lot of celebrities got in touch with me about my insight into this Kabbalistic practice called gematria, which is the language of geometry with numbers. Whereas your name equals a certain number, the day that
yes.
you're born is connected with these numbers. And now I've broken through to another system. Speaking of the fractalizing, is a system called the numogram.
Mm,
Tucker Carlson just interviewed some guy named Conrad Flynn, and he brought up the subject matter of this guy from a cybernetic research group by the name of Nick Land. He's a philosopher. He was a accelerationism philosopher in the 90s and early 2000s, part of a group. And they developed this thing called the numogram. It's like another system of the Kabbalah. It's the Kabbalah, but it's in retro chronological temporality. It doesn't go straight forward, whereas Hermetic principles and the Kabbalah teaches everything folds back into the one. It folds into something called polylogic.
mm,
So the polylogic is kind of like what the fractals are. And there
yeah.
was an article was released yesterday, speaking of the numogram, prime numbers. If you learn the mysticism of prime numbers, counting prime numbers in your meditation, you start to actually get the spiritual significance out of what the fractal um, symmetry is, the fractalization is. So counting in primes in your meditation will unlock and reveal even more conscious um, experiences
That's
in
interesting.
through what that is. So yeah, so the numogram basically is detailing numbers as something called lemurs, and they're
Mm.
basically time demons, but not from a theological sense. When you think demons, ooh, now we getting
Yeah. You think
oh
it's evil,
yeah,
right?
some
Yeah.
horn being. No, we're talking about a temporal distortion. So a lot of people will
Ah,
come to me and say, why do I see 333 444 so much? You know, you got angelic numbers, you got these other numbers, or palindromic numbers, or you have rep digits, numbers that repeat over and over. And there's a sequence in life you start to see it.
right.
I've always said it's a time frame where the soul is trying to tell you there's something that is retrocausal that you need to be looking back to, that
Interesting.
is a spiritual shift in your life. But the numogram goes as far as to say there's a distortion happening, which
Hmm,
means the chronology means that it's folding, something's folding back. The consciousness is folding back upon itself. So it's
okay.
parallels to what I'm saying. It's the same thing, but in a different way, that these numbers have various effects on us. And because we've been taught to think linearly, we don't get
Yes.
the poly logic, the full angles of how light is featured into our consciousness. We don't grasp the whole aspect of what's occurring, especially being on a monotheistic model for the most of our lives. We looked at the Egyptians and older civilizations and frowned upon polytheism, where polytheism was recognizing not that there's many gods, but the one God has many different forms of itself that all becomes one.
Yes.
Going back into fractalization, so is they've had a more advanced science to unlock the soul, to unlock these things. Because if you
Right.
don't unlock it at death, there was another woman by the name of Judy K. King, which she was breaking down the polytheism in the light frequency. She says at death, only kings and priests were allowed to know this, but at death, there was a venture you had to go through called the Amduat in Kemet in Egypt. And you had like 24 hours to find the sun metaphysically. And what they were breaking down, there's something in the DNA strand or the helical strand called histones. In your eighth histone, if you've acquired enough light, it locks itself into the helical structure. And it's described that that lock in that eighth strand of the DNA, if you have that, that's representative of Anubis, by the way. That blew my mind. It's like
Hmm.
that occurrence is Anubis happening at the point of
Hmm.
death. If you've done enough spiritual work in acquiring light, this thing naturally happens and you become what's called a different species of what Horus is or what Heru is, which was the original theology or the mythology of what Christ was. So
Hmm.
there's not just one Horus, there's species of this Horus. And this woman is breaking down how to escape reincarnation by having this eighth strand of histone locked into the helical structure of your DNA. So you're becoming a knowledgeable soul past death. And when you leave the body, there's going to be other entities trying to take this light from you.
Right.
If you're unaware of how to protect your light, they can come and take it from you. And how when they take it from you, you have to reincarnate, do this thing all over. It's kind of like going outside and there's some bullies outside and you don't know how to defend yourself and they take your
Yeah.
phone and every day, you go to school, you get beat up by the same bullies until your dad or someone came up and said, "Hey, hit that bully in their face." And that's how you stop that.
Yeah. It's like capture the flag or something. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's fascinating. I didn't know most of that. I knew some
Yeah.
of it, but not all of it. That's really, really interesting. So,
Judy K. King, you guys could look it up. It's called I think one is called Balls of Fire.
okay, I was
She
going to
has a
ask.
series of books you could look into that. And the Numogram is by Nick Land. You can get the
Okay.
Numogram book. Yeah.
So when you leave, you have to know how to protect your light. And then once you protect your light, you can move on and become like a
Well, let me
Christ-like
read.
figure or
Well,
yeah.
I did stress before that you have to do enough spiritual practice. You have to communicate with the soul. The soul only communicates to you through sound.
Mm,
Sound is a form of light. So before the physical dimension comes here, there's a primal sound realm, then there's a primal light realm, then it's liquid light, and then it gets
mm,
into light. This light from the color spectrum or the light spectrum as we know it. That's down from liquid light and below. So
interesting.
the soul, if primal sound began at all, you know, you hear the monks, they'll do the om, the
Right.
primal sounds of reality. If you go through a lifetime not accessing the bija seeds of this sound from a Vedic sense, they call it the bija seeds or mantras, then the soul doesn't have enough communication to understand that it needs to acquire light. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's you're basically starved your soul for a lifetime, and it doesn't have knowledge to know that it needs to gather light and hold that light. So the more
Right.
light you gather when you leave the body, it's going to be harder than something to come up and just take it. It's going to be too heavy or too it's going to be too, I won't say dense, but it's going to be too difficult for them to take it because you've done so much work and you put so
Yeah.
much work in that the light is accumulated at a greater degree than most.
Oh, that's interesting. So whenever you, excuse me, I mean, I've heard that you have to be in a certain state of mind when you leave your body. In other words, if you say when you die, if you are in an accident or somebody kills you or it's a traumatic kind of death,
Yeah.
you're not in the right, you're not, if you're not calm and in the right state of mind when you leave your body, it's a lot easier for you to have to be forced to reincarnate than if you are calm and present and you can leave your body in a more in a better way.
Well, let's just use that example. If you died traumatically and suddenly and you didn't put any work in, a lot of examples was that when people die that way, they wake up in the astral plane and
Yeah.
they go and knock on somebody's door and the person doesn't answer because
Mm,
you're suspended in astral, you're in a whole
right.
in
You're
the
in
astral
another
body
realm.
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're in the astral body. You're still in the state of the third dimension, but you're in the
An astral body.
crevices. Yeah, you're
Right.
in the crevices electromagnetically of the third dimension. You haven't left. You're not in the soul plane yet.
Right. Right. Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because there's levels. People don't even understand there's levels to the astral plane. There's the sublunar
Right.
plane. There's the Davic Shattuck plane. The Golden Dawn and all of these magical orders, they map that from the ancient civilizations. There's levels to the astral plane, but the astral plane isn't an area that you want to be forever. Only the
No.
bodhisattvas wanted to do that.
Yeah.
The bodhisattvas in the Vedic text, they did that so they can become an ancestor to their descendants and continue to give them information, be a guidance to them. So they
Right.
stayed in the astral plane. But you want to transcend, you want to get hyperdimensional sovereignty from
Right.
this dimension altogether. So when I told you earlier, if you went into those practices and you were pragmatic and you did your mantra work, you did the your soul accumulated enough light through you communicating with it and it resonating with the communication, it wouldn't matter how you died. You're now
Right. Okay.
prepared. See, that's the real reason in the world that people don't get to where they want to go is because of the fear of death.
Right. Exactly.
The ancients relieved us from that fear, and the controllers scrambled the direction that we needed to go to understand that and put something in the place of what the directions or the map was to understand that. And that replacement has made us fearful of death once again. So they
Well,
took
yes.
away. our sovereignty to understand death fully. Because once you understand it, if you don't fear death, there's no the potentiality is out the roof because
Right.
you're not worried about none of that. This is
Exactly. You have no fear when you're leaving. You're just, you have more of a plan or a calmness about you because you have an idea of what's going to happen next. You know what you're going to do. You have a plan. And
right,
I think that's really, that's very, it's imperative.
right. So they took that away and they made us fearful. And
Right.
because we were fearful, you kind of hesitate and you
Yeah.
kind of second guess.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I need to do this. I might die or something like that, or it'd be critical to my health. But if you were in those realms, if you were already tapped in and you knew the knowledge and science of it, it wouldn't be no fear. You would just live in your full potentiality. So
Right.
that's what spirituality is supposed to provide for you. But today's spirituality is different, defined by each person, and that's the problem. Some people
Mm,
that define things as spirituality isn't spiritual. If you're not talking to the soul, you're not doing spirituality.
right.
Hmm.
What about the astral plane? I mean, some people actually do astral travel and remember it. They have lucid dreams. And so they know when they leave their body, they're already familiar with how to do it because they've done it consciously before. Um, is that something you would recommend?
Yes, astral travel. See, that's the thing about it. Astral travel is here just for what you said, to practice leaving the body. It's not something that a place that you want to dwell.
Yeah.
Some people think that the astral plane, because they can astral travel, that they're at the forefront of
Mm,
understanding this thing, the whole continuum. You're not.
mm,
You've done great practice in a secondary, a shadow plane to the physical. The astral is like like the Janus face. It's the reflection of the physical. So it's like a semi temporal world to the physical, even though time is not four, it's third dimensional, but outside of the astral plane, the fourth and the fifth, sixth dimensions, these things don't pertain to the mental capacity or the spirit levels of the lower four chakras. These things are probably upper in the Sahasrara, the crown chakra, in these upper areas. This is not the astral plane you're dealing with. You're dealing with interdimensional, hyperdimensional areas. The astral plane is on lockdown in the third dimension. It's just a apparatus for us to do the work and practice while we're here. But some people start to almost worship being able to astral travel, and they're kind of misguided. They'll treat the astral travel as the end all be all to what this whole thing is.
right. Well, you're still in the matrix. It's
Yeah,
not like
that's
you've
what I'm saying.
left. Yeah,
Mhm.
right. So, but that's interesting that you call it like a practice ground. I think that's pretty well said. I like that.
Thank you. It's like homework. It's a
Yeah.
homework ground. You go, your teacher give you an assignment. You gotta have a couple of assignments to do. You go and do the assignments, and you come right back, and you got to get the next lesson
Yeah.
to do the assignment. But there is soul travel.
Mm,
Soul travel is in astral. I mean, you ever did mycelium
totally
before?
different. No, I haven't.
Well, when you do, you'll know that ain't no astral plane.
That's a totally different story. Okay. I
That
have
is.
not tried it. And, it's something that I'm curious about. I'm not afraid of it at all.
Mhm.
But the main reason I've never tried it is because I have, I already have the ability to see things now. So I'm like, do I really want to go any further than I already can? But maybe I do. Maybe,
I would say that every person should have at least one psilocybin trip in their life.
yeah, I was really interested. I was listening to Terrence McKenna a lot,
Mhm.
and I was I was listening to his, he would talk about what his were like and what his experiences were like, and he would say the same thing. He says that everybody should try it at least once.
Yeah, with
And
the Dave circuits and everything with him. I'm not sure if he was CIA, but he has some interesting. He did it for, he was like at the forefront of it. Of
yeah, and I don't know if I would want to do a heroic dose either. I think that'd be a bit, maybe a bit much. I don't know if should go around like telling people they should do that either. But,
I
like,
mean, not standard. It's certain, like I said, in Vedic astrology, if you have Saturn in the eighth house, a
mm,
heroic dose wouldn't be detrimental for you. So depending on
okay.
your placements, it depends on your karma. Karma is action, actions
Mm,
from this life and actions from past incarnations. So if I had a
mm,
birthday cake, if I light a candle on that birthday cake, what happens if I don't blow that candle out?
it melts.
Begins to melt, right?
Yeah.
Then what happens then? It not only if you don't blow that candle out, it can set your whole your house on fire. You know,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I guess
if
that's
you don't
true.
blow the fire, I'm saying if you don't put the
Yeah,
fire,
you've got to, yeah, you got to
you
put it
got to
out.
put the fire out. Is what I'm
Right,
saying.
right.
That's the analogy. Um, Karma is that candle. So you make an action. What blows the candle out is something called dharma. Dharma is your duty. Understanding
Yeah.
your duty in your place in the world and acting on your duty blows the karma out. See, Western civilization don't really describe that.
No,
So
not at
to
all.
put this in a nutshell, certain people's karmas, they haven't blown that candle out from 3 generations ago. So the action of that candle is still burning. The whole house has been burning for years.
Mm, yeah,
Then they wonder why they're in a spin cycle with it, and they
yeah.
can't get out. They're desperate. Like I don't know what it is. It's like something following me. It's because you didn't break that. I wouldn't say a curse, but it kind of is a curse. Once you don't blow it out to a certain extent, it becomes almost a curse because it affects your kids. It affects your loved ones.
Yeah.
So the reason why I said that is psilocybin with a karma that has, there's 4 types of karma. I won't get into it. You can look it up. It's Sanchita, Parahabra, karma, but there's different types of karma. Um, if you don't blow these karmas out and you take psilocybin, it's going to be detrimental for you. That's why I said that. So yeah, you can't do 20 grams.
Mm, mm,
If first you might have Rahu in the eighth house, and Rahu is the Lord of illusions. So a lot
mm.
of people think they're getting abducted by aliens is because they got Rahu in the eighth house. They
Ah,
see more illusions more than most people. So
right.
astrology is very phenomenal, like understanding why these things occur. Now, I'm not saying that people can't have an actual extraterrestrial experience ever,
You're right. Right.
but Rahu in Vedic astrology, its placement is very critical for you to identify where is it. Because you know where is it. Some people say, why do you say that like that? Like they'll question, like, why do you do that? You like, why do you keep asking me why I do this? You got Rahu in the placement. You can't see it.
Yeah.
It's an illusion. You don't know why they keep telling you gotta stop doing that. You're like, what did I do? I didn't do nothing. They're like, yes, you did. You did do that. You did that. And you get older, you kind of see it, but you like, why does people have such a why they so much like that against me? It's because you got Rahu. You got to identify what planet is with. You got to identify it quickly to understand it. Now that I more understand where my Rahu placement is, I understand I'm obsessed because Rahu is obsession too, but I'm obsessed with finding knowledge that destroys misinformation.
Hmm. Interesting. Well, that's obvious. It's pretty, yeah, that's right on point.
But if I don't check myself, I can find illusions in
Mm,
the things that I'm finding. You
okay.
see what I'm saying? So, but
Yeah.
I have a exalted Jupiter, even though it's in retrograde, but that's good. I also have Guru, which is Jupiter. It gives me a higher ceiling of understanding wisdom. So knowledge is knowledge, but wisdom is the processing of the knowledge.
Right.
So I'm not very rarely will I say something and I'll be like, oh, I was completely incorrect or behooved by something that may have been an illusion. More than not, I'm a no because I also have Saturn in Aquarius in the ninth house. So,
Mm,
well, Aquarius rules Saturn in the ninth house. So I have a serious demeanor by finding the information. I'm not goofing
yeah.
around.
Right. You are definitely not playing.
Yeah,
For sure. Well,
absolutely.
that's interesting. So, does everybody have a Rahu, or does somebody, or
Yes.
are there some people that don't? Oh,
I
okay.
mean,
So
it's
everybody
right.
has one.
Rahu in the mythology is this serpent. It has a tail named Ketu, and his head gets cut off in in the um in the tail. So Rahu, like I said, is deception and illusion, the projection of that obsession. But Ketu is like the liberation, which is called moksha in Vedic terminology. It's the freeing of karma from past lives.
Mm,
One is the north node, one is the south node. What they are is the shadows that the planets cast. So they're called
oh,
shadow planets.
okay.
And yeah,
Interesting.
so Western astrology doesn't really calculate it, or it can calculate it, but they don't really care about it. In Vedic astrology, the most important things you're going to look at is your ascendant, your moon, your Rahu, and Ketu.
Okay.
And
Wow.
everybody has it.
That's fast. I didn't know about any of that, so that would be good to know. How do you find out about these things?
You can find it. You can go through different Vedic websites to find it.
Okay.
I also do readings. If people need help, I do a long type up, like pages,
Hmm.
where I break down every sign for you. I also describe, because you got to know what nakshatras are, the lunar mansions. There's 27 of them. So I break
Wow.
down every nakshatra and their placement. I break down your shaktis. That means your superpowers. This is the powers the cosmos have given you for you to wield, so to speak. All of this stuff in Marvel and DC comes from what Shakti is. Shakti means the
Interesting.
power or the ability to do so. You have a power and an ability different from every person. It's called a Shakti.
Right. That makes
Shakti is
sense.
Shakti is also the goddess in the Vedic lore that means power. Her
Okay.
name literally means power. So I got to find where your Shaktis are. Um, I have to figure out your babas, your houses. Then after I understand which houses are aspecting each other, I have to discover what's your Mahadasha and your Antardasha. Maha means great, Dasha means cycle. Antardasha means intermediary of what's occurring right now. So Mahadasha is the great cycle. Antardasha is like what's going on right now. So your Mahadasha
Okay.
is going to tell you what planets develop at age 6 through 12, then 12 to 22, then 22 years old to like 40, then 40 years old to 60. It's going to tell you what planetary phase are you in and what things are going to transform in you or what has already transformed in you because of this planet.
Mm, okay.
The
That sounds really interesting.
Antardasha, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I was just that sounds really interesting. Go ahead.
Yeah, Antardasha is going to tell you what transits are you in right now in this month. Like what planets are affecting
Mm,
you right now. And
okay.
then I do a overall strength. What is the strength of your entire chart? And what is the weakness? What is the debilitated, the planets that you hurting on? And then at the very end, I give something called remedy. What type of mantras, what type of exercises, what type of colors. Big thing. I teach Vedic cosmology. hyperchromatics of
Mm.
colors because the colors you wear, if you have a white shirt on and it's Saturday, the moon, the moon is probably the only planet in Vedic astrology that doesn't have any enemies. You got to figure out which planets have enemies. So different planets are enemies, like Saturn and the sun are enemies.
Mm.
So different planets are enemies. So you can't put on a white shirt on Saturday if you
Mm.
put it's like in our terminology, it's like you got the ops shirt on. You wearing the ops. You can't put the ops shirt on, on that day,
Okay.
So the ops gonna come find you. They're gonna do something to you that day. You wonder why did that happen? Why did this happen to like bad? I won't say it's always bad, but something you may get a phone call, something happened in your family.
Mm.
Because I meant to say this, your planets is also the circle around you, your family, or the closest people to you represent what's in your chart. Like when I show you your chart, I'm going to show you where these planets are positioned specifically in your chart is detailing why there's certain people in your life in a certain way. That's how deep it goes. But it also breaks down mentally and spiritually inside of you as well.
Wow,
That's
that's
how deep it
amazing.
is. But the
Yeah.
remedy is going to help you at the end of the reading. It's going to help you figure out what you need to wear, what colors to wear on certain days, what
Mm.
mantras, what good deeds you can do. Like it's going to give you Vedic type version. So it might say, go give a white lotus flower to a 6-year-old girl. You don't have to follow it completely, but you want to try to do things sometimes to do good things pretty much.
Mm.
Be good to good people.
Yes. Well, yeah, that's a good idea anyway.
Right.
So, always a good idea. Okay, well, that sounds interesting. I might want to have one of those done. Um, so
Absolutely.
how do people get a hold of you to do that?
You
The
guys can get a hold of me at Star Tribe 777 at gmail.com.
Okay.
And I definitely will respond within, if not within 24 hours, I will. But yeah, I would say everybody needs to get at least one Vedic astrological reading. You really need to get a reading once a year because
Mm.
when your transits come, you need to figure out, hey, there's a storm coming. You don't see it,
Mm.
but the Veda see it. Veda comes from the word vidya. It means knowledge to see. Is all it means.
Mm. Interesting. Wow. So will it can it also predict what could happen in the future, even if there's a
Yes.
timeline shift, even if there's a,
Hmm.
okay,
Vedic
interesting.
astrology, like if you're Marigashira ascendant or moon, Marigashira's, that's another thing. I haven't gone as deep as I can, but Marigashira is governed is Lord is Mars. People who are Marigashira of the Marigashira nakshatra, they're more devotees type people. They do things very structured, so
Mm.
they gotta fold their sheet in the morning. Every morning they have to fold their
Mm.
sheet. They're very
Hmm.
devotional to these type of things. But
Yeah.
the funny thing is every nakshatra has an animal attached to it.
Mm.
Marigashira's animal is a deer.
Hmm.
Most of these people with Marigashira ascended or moon are going to have a deer type face. Their facial
Mm.
structure, they're going to look exactly like a deer. I promise you.
Wow. That's
So
pretty cool.
that's how deep, like the phenotype, your bone, your face structure, the phenotype
Mm.
is even connected to Vedic astrology. This thing not only can predict the future, it can show you why you are physically the way you are and spiritually.
Interesting. Wow. Well, that's really fascinating. Um, yeah, so anybody who's interested, contact Ani, and um, that would, I think I want to do it. So I'm first.
Yeah. I
But
appreciate it. I'm still in development to become a Yotishi, which is a master of Vedic astrology. It's going to take me some time to get there, but I
mm,
have gotten a lot of positive feedback, and people have come back immediately to get more things done because I also do gematria life
mm,
decodes. So just like I decode everything that occur in society I can do the same thing in your life. I can show you from the time that you're born, how many days between an incident that was significant in your life. Why did this incident happen? Me and this young lady identified why the color of this car she was in. I won't put her business out there, but what occurred was it was synced numerologically to the color purple. That's all I'm gonna say.
Wow. Interesting. That happens to be my favorite color. So, well, anyway, it's weird. Um, so what you were going to talk a little bit maybe about current events and
Yeah.
what you've been discovering lately
So
and
we
discussing.
devoted some things like the Charlie Kirk thing. That thing was a big ritual. In gematria, the word or the name Charlie Kirk equals 109. In most of the world, they write their dates backwards. So 109 is actually 9/10 in any other place of the world. So
Hmm.
10/9, but it's 109. Shooting in gematria equals 109. Everybody who knows gematria knows shooting equals 109 because almost every school shooting in this country is connected to a 109 ritual. It's like clearly.
Oh,
So that's
wow.
one thing. Another thing, he was killed on World Theater Day.
Hmm.
Okay. He passed away 33 days before his birthday. And we know this
Wow.
number 33 is connected. Well, you know you have 33 vertebrae in your spine. So we're talking about the story of Christ dying at age 33. The reason why he dies, because once you meditate, you get to the Sahasrara, the crown chakra, you're supposed to be enlightened. That's
Hmm.
the metaphysical esoteric lesson of death. Death is supposed to mean on the Kabbalah, Dath, Daath, which means knowledge. Doth means
Hmm.
knowledge in Hebrew. So the death to the Freemasons, the reason why they do the Hiram Abiff and they hit you across the head and is the King Solomon whole thing is talking about something esoteric to spirituality. So Trump called him a master mason at his memorial.
Wow.
Said he was a no, he said he was a master builder. That was the term.
Oh, a
That's the
master
master.
builder.
That's a master
Interest.
mason, right?
Wow.
Now there was a
Okay.
movie that came out in 1996 called Snake Eyes with Nicolas Cage in it. And in the
Hmm.
movie, a guy named Charles Kirkland was shot in the neck by a man named, no, the man name wasn't Tyler. The fighter, the person that was fighting that night in the movie, it was a boxing match. Coincidentally, when Charlie Kirk was shot in real life, there was a boxing match that weekend between Terrence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. There was a movie between a black guy and a Hispanic
Hmm.
in the Snake Eyes movie, but the guy named Charles Kirkland is shot in the neck. He's a politician, and the
Hmm.
Illuminati eye is in the background. And
Wow.
there's a woman in the movie wearing all white, and her name in real life is Carla. The actress name is Carla. Carla is a feminine derivative of the etymon of Charles. It means Charles. So these
Hmm.
Charles connections is connected to King Charles because there were some
Right.
things that happened with him as well that I can get into, but we don't got all day to get into that.
Hmm.
The word Charles means free man, and the
Hmm.
name of his organization was Turning Point. The Turning Point, did you know the week after he passed, the Federal Reserve had a meeting with our federal government. How often does
Hmm.
that happen?
Not very often.
And they
If
mhm.
if at all. Yeah. Go ahead.
They were talking about cutting taxes or something. So it was about new world currency. This is the Turning Point
Mm,
because if you look at the logo of Turning Point, it has the Royal Arch of the Freemasons. The arch is a line from I think is Leo to Virgo. I think it's no, it's not Leo. It's Gemini to Virgo.
okay.
So it's like showing you the arch of the seasons from from Gemini, Leo, down into what Virgo is.
Hmm.
Gemini rules the neck. He was shot in the neck. Mercury rules the neck. Trump is a Gemini.
Oh,
Trump is a Gemini. He got shot 201 days. 201 is the big Illuminati number in gematria. Order of Illuminati equals 201. The Jesuit order equals 201. Uh, Illuminati ritual equals 201. There's 201 steps on the Great Pyramid.
hmm.
He was killed 201 days after Malcolm X's assassination. Mercury's weight is 201. I'm talking
Wow.
about chemically in the atomic weight of Mercury is 201.
Okay.
Mercury rules the neck. And he was born on the same
Mm.
day as George Floyd, because all Charlie Kirk talked about George Floyd.
Wow. That's weird.
George Floyd had a knee on his neck
Right.
while Trump was in office. Remember, Mercury rules the neck.
Mm.
Mercury rules the neck. So the neck rituals are all now. Erica Kirk, man, we've been breaking her down for weeks. She has to be a part, or she has to be a moon child, a government asset. Um,
Mm.
her father was a part of the Royal Order of the Vikings. Her grandfather is a part of the Royal Order. I think he's like the Grand Master of that.
Hmm.
Remember, our FBI director, Kash Patel, said, "See you in Valhalla," to Charlie Kirk. By the way, it took 33 hours to find the shooter. 33 again. But
That's wild.
the guy the guy that shot him supposedly, there's a picture of him on the internet when they showed who he was. He's standing in front of a computer screen, and on the computer screen there's an island. If you zoom in on his computer screen, the island is called Goat Island.
Mm.
Somewhere in Europe off the coast of I think it's near the Strait of Gibraltar, I believe. But on this island, there's a place called Valhalla.
Wow.
It's
That's
like
wild.
a capital, like a main place called Valhalla. And Cash Patel says, "See you in Valhalla." See
That's
you in
so
Valhalla.
weird.
So I'm not insinuating you make the connections how you want to. So Erica Kirk, her mother and father works for their own company called G Tech Technologies or something like that, where they make EMP, electromagnetic pulse devices, to prevent blackouts or to protect you from blackouts. They make devices to protect you from blackouts.
Okay, like Faraday cages.
Right. So
Okay.
her mother name is Lori Franze, I believe, and she was on a government EMP council called the Blackout Wars or some shit like that. I had a
Mm.
book. The information is out there. Her name is on there. Her father works for the company now. He's been doing work in Arizona, helping people install these devices. So it could be
Mm.
predictive programming to some type of blackout coming.
Mm. Okay.
Now, with her specifically, Erica Kirk, there was a music video she was in 2012. Uh, it's called "You Drive Me Crazy," something
Mm.
like that. "You Driving Me Crazy," and it was from a band. I forgot the band's name now. It's about 2 or 3 weeks ago we covered this. But in the music video, she's in a truck with this guy and they're getting married. This is before she was married to Charlie Kirk. So she met Charlie Kirk like that year or year after. But she's in this music video for this band. She's in the truck with this guy. The guy's name is Tyler.
Oh my God. So wild.
The guy name is Tyler. They're driving to Vegas to get married. Now, when they get to Vegas, they go zip lining. She zip lines in the sky and she passes this image in the sky, and the image says 9.10.
Oh my God. That's so wild.
And
I
and
mean,
mhm.
you can't make that up.
In the music video, she posted in the comments, I had a blast shooting this with you, Tyler.
Oh, oh man. Wow.
So I'm just trying to, I mean, there's a lot of numerology in it. I didn't want to bombard you with numbers and all of that, but
Yeah.
um,
No, that's pretty, just that alone is pretty amazing.
so I would
Wow.
advise, yeah, people, because it goes back, because you remember they had some type of stabbing in Charlotte right before that. There was some Ukrainian woman got stabbed by a black guy in Charlotte. His name
Mm,
is the Carlos. That translates to Charles. Charlotte is derivative is Charles.
right.
This happened 1 week before the Charlie Kirk thing. Well, it happened a month before, but the story came up 1 week before the shooting because he was
Okay.
using that. Charlie Kirk was using that as talking angles. Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So this guy supposedly stabbed this woman in Charlotte, and the funny thing is there was a guy that died in the same place as Charlie Kirk a week later, named Robert Redmond. Now his real name is Charles Robert Redmond. He's a famous
Mm,
actor. You may know him. If you look him up, you're like, oh, I know that guy. He died
mm,
in the same place. His name is Charles. He
mm.
played in Charlotte's Web.
Wow.
And
That's weird.
Now he played a horse, so it's a joke. You know, a Charlie horse. You get it? His name is
Uh,
Charlie, a Charlie horse. But but Charlie Kirk's memorial was at the State Farm Arena. Charlotte's Web takes place in a farm
right.
because they're talking about a web of connections.
Yeah.
And Utah is named after a spider. Lakota is some type of Native American deity. It's a spider. So um, the place he was shot, Orem, comes from the Hebrew word Arumine, and it means snake. It means the snake in the garden. And the movie was called Snake Eyes.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a lot of coincidences.
Yeah, because Orami means deception.
Okay.
So we're
That,
being deceived. There's something deep. Let's just say he did get killed. More than likely, it was a sacrifice. And now that Erica Kirk, this is the last thing. When
mm,
he got shot, no, that's a whole nother rabbit hole. I can't go that deep. His last name Kirk is etymology is two things. It's church because it comes from the Greek word circe or circa is the word Kirk, and there's another Norse term named
and
Kirk.
Kirk is also German for church
That's what
as
I'm
well.
saying. It's another
Yeah,
Nordic word. It means Kirkja. It means
right.
church, but it also means circa. It's a Greek goddess.
Okay.
It's an island you call Circe, but it's a goddess named Circe. If you go to the island, she puts you under her illusion or deception, and you're never able to leave the island because you're under her spell.
Oh,
So literally
weird.
the word church is named after this Greek goddess to make you stay in a place under illusion so
Mm,
you don't leave.
like the Matrix.
Right.
Hmm.
So even the word Kirk, I would advise for people, and Kirk also means circle or circuit. And
Mm,
the name of his company was Turning Point, the turning
hmm.
point, you know. So it's just a lot of stuff we can go
Closed circuit.
deep. Right. But that's just, the gist of what we've been breaking down. One of the main things that people want to know about that we broke down this last couple of weeks.
Fascinating. Fascinating. Well, I know you don't want to go into too much more, but I do find
That's fine.
that the
That's fine.
comment you made about King Charles, and you don't have to go in too deep, but is there a connection between him and Charlie Kirk?
It is. It's a Charles. It's a connection with the name Charles. The Charles means a free man. And once they bring in this new quantum financial system, it's a analogy or a metaphor to who will be the free man financially from this new enslavement that they're about to put us in. So no
Wow.
coincidence, King Charles met with Trump the same week that Charlie Kirk was shot.
Okay. So, do you think that Charlie Kirk was a sacrifice that had to be made for what would be the purpose of the sacrifice?
Well, it's like asking, what is the purpose of any sacrifice? Do you want the physics description or you want the plain description? Depends
I
what you want
mean,
to know.
I guess what I'm saying is like, usually in the, well, whenever there's any kind of anything happening with the Freemasons and there's a sacrifice involved, it's because that has to happen for in order for something else to take place.
Well, let me clarify. The Freemasons are nothing but the vehicle for these
Mm,
people that's doing the sacrifices. So they're using the Freemasons and their iconography. So we believe and we say this is the Freemasons doing it. It's called the hidden hand trick. You
right,
only see the hand. You don't know who the hidden hand is. You don't know this hand over here. You see what they're
right.
waving you.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
so Freemasonically, yeah, there's things like the Hiram Abiff and all of these type things. There's degrees and things that we will never understand the secret seas, but it's not like Freemasonry, your uncle or your neighbor
no,
part of
no,
some
no,
sacrifice order. So let me
no,
clarify.
no, no.
There's something called a community mason. Then
Right,
there's these masons a part of something called the Alpha Lodges.
right. Well, that's what I'm saying when I say Freemasons, I'm not talking about like the little chapter in your neighborhood. I'm talking about the
Okay. I'm just
high,
clarifying that
the
for the
top of
audience.
the top of the hierarchy.
Yeah, because if I got to clarify that, because people being,
Yeah,
comments like,
right.
hey,
I know.
this dude said
But
free
my
Mason, sacrificing
but my
everybody.
uncle is in the Freemasons and he's a great guy. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we ain't talking about that. Those they're at the church doing program, doing
Mm,
philanthropy work, giving money
right,
to the homeless and doing stuff like that. But so to answer your question, at the point of death, if you sacrifice someone or you kill someone out of the natural order of the flow of the universe, it caused a disruption or a pocket. So if you kill someone, is a violent act, just like how a river flows, this river gets disrupted because of that act. What they try to do is extract the energy out of that
right,
with that violent disruption. And the collective consciousness of everyone, their minds is focused on that disruption, which provides more energy for them to go up on these astral planes in a ritual ceremony to extract more energy out of it.
right,
So to tell you why would they do it, it instills a egregore, a future egregore of an eschaton. It's a long description, but an egregore is a collective astral thought that everybody is collectively feeding upon. They're talking about putting
right.
this guy Charlie Kirk on a coin.
Okay,
That's instilling the ritual. What is a ritual? You go and take a shower every day. Why? Because you don't want to be dirty and smelly. They do a ritual every day to stay in power. So their bloodlines to stay in power.
right,
So why would they do it? They have to do it. They have to do the opposite. It's called the obscene rites. They have to do the opposite of what good is. Because this
right.
realm is, if you look at it from a Gnostic sense, which a lot of people, you all understand they're Christian or whatever, but
Mm,
if you go back into the ancient religions, they said that this world was not a good place. If not, is that if this isn't the case, then there wouldn't be a heaven in theology, because heaven would be the prime place that would be called good, right?
mm-hmm.
This place is what you call polarity. You got good and you got
Yep,
bad.
yep.
Well, if bad exists, bad is going to be heavier. of a thing more than good. Good is going to be more light because more
Right.
people are going to the heavier result of things is going to pull on the substrate of reality more than doing things good. You're expected to be good. You do something evil or bad, people will be like, wow, like he just did
Yeah.
that or she just did that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
they want to pull on that heavier, denser vibration. And now the world is being impacted. We're getting pulled into their hyperstitional vortices of what they're projecting over the social engineering of what we're a part of now.
Ah, okay. Now there you're kind of getting into it. So what is what is the trajectory of this? What do you think is the outcome?
Of what? Of Charlie Kirk or what I just explained?
What you just explained.
The trajectory is that you have a group of people that have dominion as a manager over this planet, and they can continue to reincarnate in their own bloodlines.
Yeah, that's what they
There's
do.
a Italian Renaissance tarot deck before you get the Rider's Waite deck called the Solabusca deck. It literally is called the Game of Saturn. It shows on the iconography or the pictures, the pictorial examples on there that there's a process that the elites go by ritualistically to continue to reincarnate back in their own bloodlines. But the
Mm.
iconography shows the most anti-Christian reflections of very devious things
Yeah.
ever recorded in any tarot deck. There's nothing Christian about the tarot deck at all, like zero.
Right. Well,
So
yeah.
basically, you ask me what is the end game is that they're able to become the managerial class of the third dimension under the archons. And
Okay.
we're living their projection of what reality should be. You ever hear people question why isn't fruits free? They grow,
Yeah.
God gave us it for free. It's because we're living the reality of the people that run the world. We're living in their reality. And the thing about it, spirituality is learning how to create a pocket bubble of your own reality, to get out of the reality of the world and project and live in your own little bubble space of your own reality.
And
That's what spirituality is about. Go ahead.
if there were enough people that were able to do that individually and make it more of a collective thing, would that flip it?
Probably so, but where us spirituals are going, we won't need this dimension anymore. So if you spend your time trying to fix something that's going to take centuries to fix, you're not moving in the direction that the soul really needs to move in. And maybe there needs to be a group of people that need to dedicate their lives to that, but everyone doesn't need to dedicate their lives to it, is what I mean. We need to get more into understanding these hyperdimensional spaces. How does it work? How does it impact things mentally and spiritually? We need people to do certain types of work on that side and other types of work on this side. If we all focus on trying to do that with those people, we pretty much, the Egyptians said, we gave up the third dimension because we figured out how to escape out of this aeon.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, depends who wants to do it. I mean, if you do it, by all means, good luck. It's going to take some time, but we can get
Yeah,
more done finding out things that's a little bit more practical pertaining to the soul.
right. So, in other words, if you work on your own spirituality, you can break free from this 3D matrix and be able to
Let me clarify
propel out of it.
one sentence.
Okay.
If you break through yourself That's more impactful than a group breaking through because now you become the example for everyone
Right.
else.
Right. Good point. Very good point.
Right.
So,
So a lot of people trying to do that. I'm like, you didn't even break through your damn self. If you can't fly, if you can't change alchemically something into something else, then we got a lot more work to do.
yes. Yeah, and you know what? There's people that can do that that probably we don't even know. We have no idea
Oh,
that they
definitely there
can.
are people.
They're just
Yeah,
not going around talking about it, you
yeah,
know?
but that's just an analogy. Even if they could, if you
Right.
could fly, whoop-de-doo, you flying in a demiurge controlled reality. And if they
Hmm.
did find you, there's a lot of TV shows of them finding these people with abilities. They will lock you down
Oh
and
yeah.
extract your blood for life to figure out why can you fly. So
Yes. Right.
doing
So,
things, mhm.
go ahead.
I was saying doing things physical is cool. Like there's monks that acquired the knowledge of doing the rainbow body. They know how to completely disappear.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's cool, but we gotta keep it on a higher consciousness. We have to keep our mode of operandum into higher fields of consciousness, is all I'm saying.
So when you say higher fields of consciousness, are you referring to other densities?
Hyperdimensional sovereignty, there's higher plasma fields than this. Like here, the plasma fields is controlled by something called the Kordaluski clouds. Robert Temple wrote a book called A New Science of Heaven that everybody should look into. But there's other higher fields of plasma called the aeons in the Gnostic texts. They're called the
Hmm.
Enoia as well, or high, you get the monad, the source. Experiencing those hyperdimensional fields of consciousness is more important than learning how to fly in this lower plasma apparatus.
Right. But is it still part of the matrix or is it outside of the matrix?
It's outside because this aeon was created through a mistake, a debauchery. It was
Mm.
because a feminine aeon refused to procreate. Well, it was a program uploaded into her. The story is already written of what happened. And she pretty much birthed the first golem or homunculus, which is the god of the Bible. It's a artificial creation that thinks it's the highest creation, but it's not. And it kind of messed everything up. It mucked up what was
Mm.
the social orders of the original plasma. It mucked it up. And now these other higher fields have to send beings down here to incarnate in the muck to uproot it.
That's a really good way of putting it. I've always thought of it as like a cloudy distortion,
Hmm.
almost um like a murky kind of pond, you know, like
Hmm.
that's what it feels like here to me.
It's necessary because if we were these higher plasmic aliens living in a high dimensional reality for trillions, gazillion, septillion, however long,
Hmm.
what happened, they say the original story of Lucifer or Hillel ben Shahar was that a god came forth and said, hey, we've been doing this for a long time. We're getting kind of complacent. We're not evolving. And then they looked at him and said, this is great. What are you talking about? He was like, well, we're doing things. We're not evolving. We're not learning. We're not doing nothing. We're just existing. And they kicked him out of that paradise for saying that. I'm saying the original story, guys. And this what started the whole process of this lower dimension. Now, the lower dimension is necessary because whatever is on the bottom, the only way up from the bottom is to the top. That's physics.
Hmm.
So when this thing from the bottom, whatever is in this containment that you described as murky waters, whatever the plasma is down here that reaches to the top, it's going to go further past where those other beings were in
Mm.
their existence because it went down in like into a cocoon.
Right.
So when it projects up out of there, it's going to go beyond that. So
Wow.
this was something set up for specific beings to get up
Hmm,
out of here, and where we're going, we will never descend again.
good.
I just need one process. I need to experience human block reality. Oh, this is fun. That was cool. Got the
Well,
t-shirt.
I've had enough of that now. So let's
Right.
go back.
We
Let's go
got
back
the
up there.
we got the t-shirt.
Yep,
It was great.
I'm I'm done. Put a fork in me. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah. So well, thank you so much for all of this conversation. This was amazing.
Oh yeah,
I
for
don't know
sure.
anybody else I could talk to like this. This is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it's we build communities. I need to come back on and see what you guys have been doing, updating in your information. I've been so busy with the community that I've been a part of. But yeah, we that's what we do. We recently installed a Discord for
Mm,
people like-minded like this. And the Discord is very good. People share information, they drop things in there, they give spiritual information, happenings. And the more we create community, we can create an outlet for what you said. If you don't have anyone in your life to express these questions, trying to understand what's happening, trying to envelop consciousness in a spiritual development, if you don't have nowhere to grow with other people, you may not get every angle of the light
hmm.
that you could if you had other perspective. So that's what I
I
aim.
want all the angles. Give me all
Yeah,
the angles. I love that. And
I
I'm
appreciate it.
sure everybody else would be interested too that's watching. So thanks for sharing that. And
Thank you.
also just to let you know, Dave has a call tomorrow. So if you want to drop in
I
on that.
do. I do want to come
Yeah.
in. I don't know why I don't know if I need to resubscribe or to. It's like his Zoom thing, his meetings didn't come through my email anymore. So I need to
Oh,
check and
yeah,
see what's
yeah.
going on with that.
Check that. Well, I'll send you the link anyway, just
Okay.
because I'm sure it was just a misunderstanding. Or an oversight or something. But yeah, definitely, you should jump in that call tomorrow,
I
and
will. I will be
we'll
there.
be happy to see you. So thank you again for coming
Thank you.
back on, and don't like I hope we do this again soon. So
Do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. We can set it up. We could do something like once every month or anything. I'm open to having
absolutely.
conversations. I'm cool. Like I be in here having the best time breaking this stuff down and sharing information. So I thank you for having me back on your platform.
Well, thank you, and I'm glad you're enjoying it because I definitely am, and I'm sure that my listeners are as well. So thanks for coming back on Potentials, and everyone, just don't forget to comment and subscribe and like if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time. Ciao for now.